Advocates for former patients of suspended Fort Hood OBGYN Blaine McGraw brought their fight for accountability to Capitol Hill this week. 6 News reporter Juliana Jackson has more on their push for reform in the military. Juliana.
Bailey, Shield of Sisters and the Kobos law firm traveled to Washington, D.C. with 4 survivors to meet with lawmakers and demand systematic change. They spent several days on Capitol Hill meeting with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle. They tell me their mission is to ensure military sexual trauma never happens again.
It's not a partisan issue. This is a human issue.
Shield of Sisters and the Kobos law firm brought 4 survivors to Capitol Hill to share their stories with members of Congress. The group met with senators, House representatives, and the Democratic Women's Caucus.
We told them there's nothing you can do until we start holding commanders and perpetrators accountable, just like we would on the civilian side.
The groups are recommending 3 pieces of legislation aimed at preventing future cases of military sexual trauma. The proposed changes would make chaperones mandatory during medical exams. They would also expand the definition of MST to include family members and DoD civilians. They would hold commanders accountable for transferring problem service members without resolving issues internally.
This is about building a strong military, a united military, a military where service members and spouses can feel safe at the bases they call home.
Suspended Fort Hood OBGYN Major Blaine McGraw faces 54 specifications for indecent visual recording and other charges involving 44 alleged victims at Fort Hood. Andrew Kobos says his firm has filed a motion for default judgment against McGraw after he failed to respond to their civil lawsuit. They've also submitted Federal Tort Claims Act cases seeking compensation for clients from the Army.
The Army's been silent. They have not shared information about when McGraw was investigated, about what reports had been filed on McGraw, about what their knowledge of Dr. McGraw's abuses have been over this time period.
Shannon Huff with Shield of Sisters says 1 in 3 women in the military experience sexual trauma. The advocates say they won't stop fighting for accountability and transparency.
We're not done until the last person says, I'm the last one who was assaulted in the military.
McGraw remains in pretrial confinement at the Bell County Jail. The advocates say their mission won't end until the military takes real action to protect service members and their families.
Juliana, thank you.